Hi, I'm Mike Rizzo.
And I'm Michelle Rizzo.
And this is Northwest Brew Talk. Welcome to Northwest Brew Talk, the #1 podcast on Northwest beer, brought to you by Micro Homebrew, located in Kenmore, Washington. This is episode number 85. Each and every week, we promote the Northwest brewing industry by talking to those people involved and drinking their beer. If you like craft beer, learn about the people behind it here on our show. This week on the Micro Homebrew interview, we talk with Geaux Brewing. We also have our brew news and views and music from Star Anna.
If you're new to the show, we suggest you head to the website and check out the back catalog with some great interviews and, of course, lots of beer. If you have comments or questions, feel free to send us an email, nwbrewtalk@gmail.com. We're on Twitter @nwbrewtalk and on Facebook at facebook.com/nwbrewtalk. If you like the show and want to support us, share our link and tell your friends on social media. The countdown has begun.
All right, and tonight, turns out that almost by accident, we picked two Kolsch-style beers. So for those uninitiated, just a quick overview from the book Tasting Beer. Kolsch is supposedly only allowed to be brewed in Cologne, following certain guidelines, and only those people can use the actual name.
Which is why both of these say Kolsch-style ales.
Exactly. It said that it doesn't seem to extend to the United States, where it has become the generic term for the pale, softly hoppy beer that is just barely not a lager. Kolsch is crisp, but not sharp. So that's what we got.
And our first one that we're drinking tonight is from North Jetty. They are located in Seaview and family-friendly until 6 p.m. We're drinking Yellow Boots, named in honor of Michelle's fancy yellow footwear. This beer is light and refreshing, but in the traditional Kolsch style, it still packs plenty of flavor and body. 4.8% ABV, 25 IBUs, and an untapped rating of 3.5.
All right. We've got a...
big white head.
Yeah, big white head. Light gold color, a little murky.
Yeah, a little cloudy.
A little cloudy, but yeah, nice head on it.
Nice smell to it.
Yeah, it's got a nice aroma. All right. Yeah, it is got some good flavor to it. Not quite sure, what it is, if it's malt related or some type of grain
definitely
related.
very, very drinkable though.
Yeah, the book claims it was like the first session ale.
Oh, really? Okay,
yeah,
that makes sense.
It would. But yeah, it's got a nice flavor to it.
Definitely, I'm giving it a thumbs up.
Yeah, I'll go with a thumbs up on this one too. 2 thumbs up. So far in our new system, we haven't had any disagreements, but I know it's going to come.
It will.
All right.
The first dark beer.
Yeah, there we go. All right, and that brings us to this week's brew news and views. We're going to start from a letter from our founder, Joel Vanderbrink, from Two Beers Brewery. This is an interesting thing that he sent out to the media and published on a website and stuff. Two Beers is going through some big changes here.
Yeah, exciting stuff.
Well, Two Beers and Seattle Cider Company. They started out as a small brewery, 170 square feet, and now they're in a 29,000 square feet facility. And they can't keep up with demand. And he would like to keep the business, environmentally sustainable and, keep it a good business. They've been open for 10 years. Seattle Cider's been open for 4. And that's his big thing. How do you do that? How do you justify expanding or bringing on a partner or something without ruining what we've seen happen before?
Right.
He says, in March, I was contacted by a French cidery. Their desire was to partner with an American cidery, and they just wanted to do something to expand both businesses, the American side and the French side. And he said the more he talked to them, the more he liked, which is fine for him. He did say, and a quote here, "We all have read articles about local breweries being purchased by a large brewery in Colorado or St. Louis. Eventually, all entrepreneurs are faced with the ultimate live-or-die trade-off. Partner with an organization that can help you achieve your goals or continue to go it alone." So the company that they have decided to do an equity partnership with is Agrial, a farmer-owned co-op based in France.
Which is interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd have to do a little research into it and see how big the company really is, but the fact that it's a co-op is exciting.
Well, that's his big thing. He says they're the owners of some of the largest apple orchards in all of Europe.
Which makes it sound like it's a huge deal. Yes,
it could be either way. It could be a big company, or it could be, since it's a co-op, you would like to think that but most people know what a co-op is. The owners are the people involved in running the business.
Right.
So here it's a bunch of farmers. And they are partners with one of the few craft breweries in France too. So there's going to be some ties there. And what he says is they share the same values, and they have an equity partnership, and eventually they're going to be exporting their own 2 beers in Seattle cider to Europe, Asia, Africa, and they're going to be importing the French products here to the United States. So, for their sake, hopefully it works. It doesn't sound like it's the same as, a buyout, selling out, or an equity share from some other company. So he's gonna maintain his role as CEO, and all of his employees will continue to work for him. So good luck to 2 beers with that.
Definitely.
Yeah. All right. Second story we got this week from The Guardian. Beer goggles. The study confirms that drinking removes shyness about sex. Now, I don't know if anybody didn't know that before, but this study now has confirmed that.
Yeah, I'm curious as to why they thought there needed to be a study on this.
Because you got to spend money on something. So
I think there's better things to spend money on, but...
Well, it says, for the study, the researchers recruited 60 healthy volunteers aged 18 to 50 and gave half of them a half-liter glass of alcoholic beer. And this was overseas, we'll tell you. The remaining participants were given non-alcoholic beer. The volunteers were then asked to perform a range of tasks, including a face recognition test, an empathy test, and a sexual arousal test. Beer drinking had no effect on levels of the hormone oxytocin, which is thought to act as a social lubricant and assist bonding between individuals.
We know all about oxytocin, don't we?
Sure.
Birth.
Yeah.
Birth, breastfeeding, all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Ties into oxytocin.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's the love hormone.
Yeah. Well, the scientists have confirmed what humans have known for millennia: drinking alcohol removes inhibitions surrounding sex. The study was done in Switzerland and found that beer drinking made it easier for volunteers to view explicit sexual images, and the effect was greater for women than men. However, no change was seen in actual levels of sexual arousal. So it was easier for them to look at explicit pictures, but it didn't arouse them anymore. I don't know how they know that. Were they checking pants? I don't know what they were doing.
I don't know that you could check pants on women and get that reading nearly as easily as you could with man. But I think that they probably measured brain waves or something, had them hooked up to some kind of device on their brains. But the thing I found interesting was the unexpected effect was the boost in positive behavior. After downing a half a liter of beer, study participants were more attracted to happy faces and social situations.
Which... I don't know. I guess I've never known what actually the beer goggles thing. I know what the 4 a.m. or whatever joke has always been. But, at closing time, everybody says that, people look better by closing time. And I guess that's what beer goggles are. So, if you have enough to drink, anybody looks good. So that's... I
don't know that it's necessarily anybody looks good. It's just better. That you... Well, I don't know. I mean... personally, I find that it just allows me to, because I'm very introverted. I don't, I'm keep to myself. But if I'm in a big group of people and I'm drinking, suddenly I could be the life of the party without a problem.
Well, like they said, one of the researchers, the lead researcher said, quote, "The effect of many medications and substances of abuse have been tested on various tests of emotion processing and social recognition. However, although many people drink beer and know its effects on personal experience, there's surprisingly little scientific data." And yes, I know too that if I have a couple beers, I could talk nonstop. I had that problem one time when I was talking about selling my company, and I met a guy for a beer, and I had a couple beers, and we were at a brewery. And I just talked too much. We ended up doing some work together
on your personal life, and
yeah, I mean it was we ended up doing business together. He didn't buy the company, but yeah, it's easy to that lubricant. And especially good beer at a brewery. Fresh beer has to make things even easier. The other thing was these effects of alcohol on social cognition likely enhanced social ability. So that's kind of what we were saying.
Right.
And this was presented at the European College of Neuropsychopharmacology annual meeting in Vienna. So pretty interesting. Like it says, it just pretty much goes along with what conventional wisdom people already thought.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see like the actual study cases to see, exactly what was used and exactly what they were hoping to find from this. I mean, it seems like maybe it's just because they found what everybody kind of already knows that it right. Seems like it's like, yeah, no duh,
Well, it's like a lot of studies. I think they go in and they said, okay, well, we know that, this may happen or that may happen.
I think they were probably hoping to find that it increased sexual attractiveness or, what attraction or whatever. And, they didn't necessarily find that, but,
Yeah, no, definitely. All right. The last thing we're going to talk about was a story from last week that we didn't get to. 10 Pacific Northwest beers making a bundle on the black market. It's an interesting story that was published on thestreet.com. And basically, the author, Jason Nati, or I believe that's how you say it, he basically gave an overview of, of craft beer and how it's come along in the Pacific Northwest here. And first beer that he talks about is the brew. Let's see. One of them is the Russian Imperial Stout from Deschutes, called the Brew, or the Abyss. What the hell is this different here? I'm missing something here. But anyhow, the Abyss. The Abyss from Deschutes. Okay. The Abyss from Deschutes. Price is $250 for a bottle of this. It's a Russian Imperial Stout, first released in 2006. And I don't know. It looks like they're talking about 6 years of this beer, but still $250. That's a lot of money for some
crazy.
Beers. Number 9, Fremont 2013 Kentucky Dark Star and Bourbon Abominable. This beer also is just wait. How much was that one there? That one was $70 plus shipping.
Can't forget that shipping.
Well, these are for beers. I guess they're trying to show people that aren't in the Pacific Northwest. If you are into the black market and beer trading, these are some beers that if you can get them, they're worth getting.
Right.
This is one of those beers. Brewery produced just 20,000 barrels in 2014, and will produce as many as 60,000 barrels immediately, but it'll eventually crank out 250,000 annually. Oh, that's for the entire brewery.
Right.
Yes, they're going to be one of the largest breweries in the Northwest and definitely in Washington. But so this is one of their earlier barrel-aged offerings, and apparently this author liked it. Cascade Brewing Sour Collection. The entire collection is, I don't know how many beers there is here, but it starts back in 13 vintages, $700 plus $50 shipping. Wow. Yeah, I don't know. Not even gonna say
I like beer, but not enough to spend that much money on it.
No, it just seems like way too much. Yeah. Let's see. Then we'll talk about 2015 Descartes Saison Dexime, something like that. This one's only $59 plus $19 shipping and handling. Their first brewery was located in Tillamook, Oregon. And that's where they are, down in Oregon. And if you're looking for another beer, that's one of them. Here's another one, number 6, 2007 through 2009, Hair of the Dog, Fred from the Wood. Yeah. This beer is $110 plus 25 shipping. I don't know where they get this shipping cost from. It's like they're buying them at a store, or online somewhere. And these are like black market things, so I'm not sure where they're getting the price. If he just estimated price, shipping cost based on how many beers there were. But this is another one. Number 5, 2012, Elysian the Great. $40 plus $20 shipping. His big thing is, before you go crazy about them being owned by ABI, this is a reminder that this beer is from 2012 before they were purchased by ABI. So it was a Dick Cantwell production. So one of his babies. And
well, the money wouldn't be going to the brewery anymore anyway.
No, exactly. Exactly. You'd be getting it from some other person. But 8.4% ABV Imperial. And that's that one. Next one is 2011, The Commons Brotherly Love. And this is another one from Oregon. And this beer is an urban farmhouse ale, 5.3% ABV. But I don't know. This Brotherly Love is confusing here. Brotherly Love. What are they talking about here? The urban farmers has spice. However, it's okay. That's not what it was. This 10% ABV Belgian dark strong ale, typically known as Little Brother, is aged in bourbon barrels and Northwest sour cherries and Ecuadorian cocoa nibs, roasted by a local chocolatier.
That sounds good.
And this is $120 for one bottle of 2011, I believe it was. But, yeah, that does sound interesting. I probably wouldn't like it.
Yeah.
All right, 2006, the Pike Old Body Barley Wine. This beer is only $40 and $18 shipping. Pike Brewery down in Pike Place Market. They've got a lot of good stuff. Again, yep. I'm not a huge fan of barley wines. Probably wouldn't like it too much, but $40, $18 shipping, if you're looking. We're down to getting down to the end here. Number 2, 2013 Logsdon Peach and Brett. This one, 2 of them, $100 plus $20 shipping. Craziness. And our last one, the number 1, is the Grand Teton Black Cauldron Imperial Stout.
Ooh.
$3,500.
Holy cow.
For the 2012. One bottle of this. They're from Idaho. Idaho beers are a little hard to come by in the secondary market because many Idaho brewers focus largely on beers meant to be enjoyed immediately, so they don't do a lot of distribution. But, wow. $3,500. I don't think that there's any beer that's worth that. I'm sorry.
Well, I understand you saying that, but at the same time, these aged wines and stuff, I mean, they're expensive.
When's the last time we bought one of those?
Oh, I'm not saying I would personally buy this beer. That's just not what we spend money on.
No, exactly.
We spend money on fresh beer, and we love it.
Exactly.
But I can see that there is a market for it, obviously. And good. I'm glad.
Yeah, definitely. All right. That's our brew news and views this week, my friends.
Welcome back to Northwest Brew Talk. If you want to submit news to Northwest Brew Talk, send us an email to nwbrewtalk@gmail.com. If you've not yet subscribed to our podcast, why not do it now? It's free, available anywhere you listen to podcasts, including iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, and Google Play Music.
All right, on this week's Micro Homebrew interview, we're talking to Jeremy from Geaux Brewing. Okay, we're here with Jeremy from Geaux Brewing. How's it going today?
Good. How you doing?
Doing awesome.
Right.
So, why don't you start out with telling us the name Geaux? Where'd that come from?
Okay, so Geaux actually came from it's a French play. The way it's spelled is a French play on the word go, G-O. Mainly, I'm from New Orleans originally, and everything is Go Saints, Go Tigers, and we wanted to teach people to go brew their own beer. So the original impetus of the brewery was to teach homebrewers better practice, better process, and that's how we got to the name Geaux Brewing. So it just kind of stuck after that.
Nice. So, were you a home brewer? Is that what got you into this?
I've actually technically never home brewed.
Okay.
I brewed at my office, which was essentially my second home. Any business owner can tell you that when you own a business, that is your home, and your real home is where you sleep most of the time. And that was where we first started, was at the office, and then we just turned it into a commercial venture after that point. And I actually didn't even know that you weren't supposed to brew outside of your home, legally speaking. So Liquor Control Board, I'm sorry, but we figured it out eventually, and so now we're all legitimate. But never technically homebrewed.
Nice. So. Now, if I remember the story, were you brewing for your employees? Is that kind of how it started?
Yeah, that's kind of how it started. I was in the tech industry. A lot of brewers that are in the industry now, same thing. They came from the tech industry. Tech industry is well known for their Friday beer bashes with pizza and stuff, and I was doing that for it's me and a couple of 20-somethings, and started going to buy beer at local retailers. And I started adding up the receipts, and I'm going, wow, this is actually costing us a lot of money.
Yeah.
The pizza's cheap and relative to them, because we're doing double IPAs and imperial stouts and things like that. And we're talking bottles that are $10 plus. And so one day I said, we're kind of resourceful. Maybe we can figure this out on our own.
All right.
And that's how we got to brewing our own beer. That said, our first batch was completely awful. It was an IPA because that's what we liked at the time, and we just we said, we're going to keep knocking at this, and we'll figure it out. We'll keep banging out different batches and doing a lot of research, and eventually that's how we got to where we are today. It's a lot of hard work, a lot of just kind of making tons of mistakes. And we've been lucky since then. We've been really lucky. Just the brewing community here has been awesome. Honestly, the East Side brewing community, Black Raven, Dirty Bucket, Foggy Noggin, all those guys have been super helpful in trying to help us hone in things that we were struggling at. And I can't thank them enough for the amount of effort that they put in to just making us what we are, helping us be where we are today.
Nice.
Yeah.
We've talked about this with a bunch of brewers over the course of the show, but this is an amazing community just to be able to work with.
Absolutely. I mean, you can it can be from very simple recipe advice to hey, I'm running low on wheat. Do you have a bag of wheat grain that I can get from you? Oh yeah, I got some, and then you drive up to their place and pick it up. It really has been amazing to see the level of support. Obviously, with 300 plus breweries in the state now, the competition is starting to get a little bit more intense than it's ever been.
Right.
But I haven't seen the camaraderie and for lack of a better term, the brotherhood waver as a result of that intensity of the competition. If anything else, it's driving everybody to produce better beer, which in the end of the whole thing is that's what everybody wants better beer. So it's actually worked out very well.
Yeah, it's very cool. So who was brewing with you when you were struggling to start this in your garage there?
Who was brewing with? Well, work with a brewer now, ex-brewer of Black Raven.
Okay.
A guy named Justin, goes by the nickname of Shiny. He was really helpful in helping us perfect some of the recipes that we've been working on. But then Bo from Black Raven as well has been super helpful, helping us get kind of things honed in. And actually, Tony Powell from Bellevue Brewing Company, formerly of Fish, helping us dial in some stuff. So I mean, we've had a lot of people, because they believe in what we're doing, really contribute to just all the little nuances that go into making a great beer.
Yeah.
That all those guys have been super helpful in making that happen for us.
Cool.
So I love the community here. I come from tech where it's extremely competitive and highly secretive.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
the brewing industry is not without its secrecy, but the camaraderie and the types of personalities here are so much more engaging and fun. I sold my tech business just to get into brewing. This is it. This is my career now because I love it so much. The people here are so cool. It's such an enjoyable business to be in, and just being at this festival, it's our third year at the festival. The people here are awesome. I mean, the people who come in are just they're diehard beer fans, and even if they're not, even if they're just kind of, they don't know what they want, they just say, I don't want something that's hoppy, or I don't want something that's too bitter. They don't even know what the right phrasing is. You can kind of walk them through it, and they're appreciative. They're cool about it. It's just nice. It's a very nice industry to be in.
Yeah, it's very cool. It's definitely different than going to a bar where you get a Coors Light or a Bud or something, and that's it. This is, people think about what they're going to be drinking and what they like or what they want.
Yep.
Yeah, it's different.
Yep.
But so when you were working on this, and you guys were working on brewing, what was something that did you finally perfect that or IPA, or get it to where it was everybody enjoyed it?
I would say that our first real perfected beer was our porter.
Okay.
And brewers listening to this podcast will probably say, because you can hide the flaws really well in a darker beer. And yeah, that's true. But when I was living in before I lived in the Seattle area, I lived in the Bay Area, and before that was New Orleans. But in the Bay Area, visited a lot of wineries, and drank a lot of wine, and I got to understand the difference between the different oak flavors.
Okay.
And so one of the things we did with our porter early on is that we oaked it, and we oaked it with first we tried it with American oak, and then we tried it with French oak, and then we realized that the perfect blend was French and American oak. Again, coming from understanding how wineries do it, and so our first, I would say, well, nothing's ever perfect. You can always improve on stuff, but I think one of our first beers that I was truly like, yeah, we got this, was our porter, our oak porter. So we've not ever released a traditional porter. It's always been oak, because to me, the French and American oak really do impart a flavor on the roasted malts that kind of eases out the harshness, some of the tannins that you get from those darker malts, and it's been one of our best sellers ever since.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting. It's fun. A lot of the breweries, it's like 30% of sales is IPA. That's the bottom line.
Oh, for us, it's way more than that.
Oh, really?
Way more than that.
Just for the IPA?
Oh, yeah. We have 2 tanks dedicated to IPA.
Really?
Yeah. We just recently we won House IPA at Flatstick Pub in Kirkland here.
Oh, nice.
And I couldn't keep up with their consumption,
Really?
So we had to buy a new tank. So we have now 2 tanks dedicated to the largest tanks we own are now dedicated just to IPA.
Wow.
So that's well over 40, probably 50% of our production is IPA
really?
now. Yeah,
wow, that's crazy. Yeah, once in a while we'll get someone that has an odd beer that's their number one seller, but by far IPA dominates almost everyone. It's just crazy.
Yeah, you really can't. that's what's popular right now.
Yeah.
Sour's tried a little bit, and Geaux a little bit, and all these different styles have been trying, but they just can't unseat IPA.
Yeah.
They just can't. I mean, it's just IPA is, and what's happening now, what I see more than anything else, is that the breweries are looking at ways at refining the IPA, so it's not just in-your-face hops. They're really trying to do different flavor profiles that expand the, again, for lack of a better term, portfolio of IPAs, so that and when people come in and say, I want your IPA, it means a lot more than just an IPA. It means, like this summer ale technically could be an IPA because it's hopped and then it's dry hopped as well. But we call it a summer ale.
Okay.
So there's IPAs all over the place.
Right.
So you may not even know it.
Yeah, it's crazy. And so this, if you were going to enter this in a competition, what would you enter it under?
Oh gosh, it's so this beer has as I take a sip here, it's got of course a pale ale base malt. There's some wheat in there, some Pilsen malt in there, a little bit of rye. But then we started to do some other stuff. We have a Sriracha Ace hops in there, and Amarillo hops, and that's it. That's all that's in there. But it's dry hopped, and it was kind of one of those weird things where I said we're gonna do a summer ale just for the hell of it, and it's now number 2 to our IPA sales.
Really?
Yeah.
Crazy.
It's it is crazy. Yeah. So we weren't prepared for that, especially now. Again, going back to our IPA, we're kicking our butts in terms of production. We're not sure how we're going to meet demand, but it's been really cool to have another beer take off like this. So and it's easy drinking. It's light. It's fruity. It's kind of I like to call it juicy. That's the best way to describe it. And those Sriracha Ace hops they're just so unique and fun. That's how we did.
So who does the brewing? You had mentioned.
So we have myself. Okay. And then Evan. I tried to get to come over here, but he said he would just sit here and wouldn't say anything. So Evan. A great guy. He started with me several years ago, and he does a lot of the production brewing for me as well. So I kind of take point on things, and then Evan is brewing and doing a lot of cellar work. We're fairly tiny right now. Of course, we're expanding down in Auburn, but we've got right now our current operations it's less than 2,000 square feet. So. Right now, it's a handful of us. We've got a couple of people that work in the tap room in front, and then me and Evan that work in the back.
Okay.
So.
All right. So I see that. So since you weren't a home brewer, you didn't learn all the chemistry and all that stuff behind it. So that's where a lot of these other brewers came in when you weren't able to get something exactly the way you wanted, or pH or whatever.
Right.
That's where they came in, and they would help you work on that type of.
Well, I mean, for us, it wasn't really outside influence. It was more of, okay, what did we do wrong on this batch? Okay. And then go look, do some research, try and figure out what it was that we could have done better. And so spent a lot of time on the internet. Homebrewtalk.com. You guys are awesome, by the way. Those folks who contribute to that forum really do add a lot. ProBrewer.com, another one. Those guys are super cool. You get a lot of good information from those folks. And we just kind of troubleshooted things. We go, okay, well, what do we need to do differently here or there? And we figured it out. And we still get quite a few homebrewers that come through the tap room. And they're just whether or not they're contributing or drinking or whatever, they love coming over because we are more or less a something that they've been aspiring to. And not to say that all home brewers want to become professional brewers, but if they wanted to see the progression that we've gone through from a half barrel system to our 4.5 barrel system to our next year is going to be a 20 barrel brew house.
Oh.
To see that progression, and it's been a very compressed time frame. A lot of home brewers, I don't want to say aspire, because then that makes it mean like they look up to us. We all are looking up to somebody else. We're all aspiring to be better than what we are. But we get a lot of home brewers that come in and they're super stoked about the prospect of them being able to be in a similar position down the road. So it's been really cool. From a professional side, from a home brewer side, we're kind of sandwiched right in the middle, and I can't be happier. I mean, it's just we've got great customers that are home brewers, got great friends that are professional brewers. It's worked out really well for us.
So, talking about customers, have you tweaked recipes based on customer comments?
Always.
Yeah.
Always. Yeah. I mean, we're not so pompous to think that we know the right recipe combination to be all end all type thing. We're always looking at ways to improve recipes. I don't think I've ever met another commercial brewer that said, our first version out of the gates was a home run. A lot of them have had to tweak, and we're humble enough to realize that we're not perfect, and we'll make adjustments based on feedback. I mean, I think back to the very first days when we opened and when we were doing some early stuff, and had a customer come back to me and say, this is not you guys. You probably should pull that from the tap. And I was kind of I'm stubborn, and I was like, oh no, it's fine. And then I had one of my other employees come to me and go, no, this really shouldn't be on. This is not representative of us. And so we pulled it. And it takes in this industry, it takes a real brewer to admit when they make a mistake and they are willing to remove that from consumption. So, but that's okay. Let me be clear. That's rare. We don't do that a lot.
Sure.
But and actually, it's the only time I can think of it. Yeah. But that said, keg toss. I'm not doing a keg toss. No. No. I mean, I think we've had a lot of great input from home brewers. As a matter of fact, we've done a lot of collaboration beers with home brewers. For lack of a better term, Pro-Am, right? But we don't really call it that. But it's we've done some great beers. We did a beer with a home brewer, a friend of ours, a guy named Rick. He wanted to do like a chocolate rose water porter. Turned out great. Turned out great. Yeah. We did it for Valentine's Day. It was great. We did a collaboration beer with the guys over at Tornado in Seattle. And they're not home brewers, but it was on our small half barrel system, and it was great. We did it was like a chocolate stout that was aged in Skip Rock Distillery rum barrels. Turned out awesome. Nice. We're always doing that kind of stuff. I mean, at the end of the day, we kind of want to go back as much as we can to our roots, and work with people that their grounding is still in the homebrew industry.
Nice. Yeah, you were mentioning tech industry, and how I mean, they might take input from customers, but their egos are definitely a little higher up than brewers, I think. Yeah,
I mean, there's no doubt about it. I mean, hell, I mean, right now it's like if I call, tech support. All right, look, I'm 40-something years old, early 40s. I worked in tech industry my entire life. I used to run circles around the people that were on the other side of the phone, and even these days, I feel like when I get on the phone with some of these people, I'm kind of going, it's a simple button press, do this, do that, and frankly, that was one of the reasons why I was driven to beer. Because there's a lot less of that runaround crap that you get with the tech industry. Yeah. Tech industry is, it's binary. It's ones and zeros, literally ones and zeros, but also a lot of people work in that industry. Not to diss our friends at Microsoft and, all the other folks that work in tech. Some of my biggest customers have brought us to where we are today, so I'm thankful for that. But at the same time, it is a different mentality in that industry. way different from the brewing industry. And once I sold my other business and I was able to focus primarily on brewing, wow, what a weight that was lifted off of my shoulders. I mean, it's so much more fun and engaging in the brewing industry than it ever was in tech. It maybe is a little less rewarding financially speaking, but if you're getting into the brewing industry, and this is for all the future wannabe brewers, there's a running joke in the industry. If you want to be a millionaire in the brewing industry, you start with $2 million. And that's true. You are not going to make money in this. There's an outside chance that you might be the next Ken Grossman or some of the other famous brewers that have gone out there and really made a name for themselves. But the reality is that you're getting into this industry because you love the people, you love the business, and that's why we're in it. And that's why we continue to do it day in and day out.
I was in IT for 13 years, 7 years as a network admin, so I know I'm not in it.
Right. Yeah, and it's really funny because people are like, there's all these people that come from tech, and you go, why did you leave tech? And well, because it sucks. After a while, you just kind of go, I'm done with this.
You get burned out by it.
Oh, yeah.
It's the same stuff all the time.
Oh, yeah.
But this industry is amazing. So you guys carry a full portfolio, one end or the other of styles?
Yeah, we're in our current tap room. Like I said, we're expanding to Auburn, but in our current tap room, we generally carry about anywhere between 8 and 14 beers on tap.
Okay.
So we have everything from a light, like the breezy, the summer ale you've been drinking, all the way up to right now we have our GX2, which we do an annual release, and we name the release a GX series.
Okay.
So this is our second release, GX2, which is a milk stout that's infused with coffee from Louisiana. And it's coffee and chicory. That's
nice.
It's a very soft, well-rounded beer. So we do light beers all the way because we have a pretty varied clientele in our tap room. We're a fairly busy tap room. Matter of fact, most of the stuff that we sell is sold out of our tap room. It's only about 35 seats in our tap room. And our little brew house produces about 230, 240 barrels a year currently. Right. And I would say that 210 of those are sold directly out of the tap room.
Nice.
And the remaining amount is sold through what used to be one account, now it's 2 accounts, and that's only the IPA. It's we're fairly committed right now, and that's one of the reasons for the expansion. Is just trying to keep up with that.
So why don't you tell us about the expansion?
Well, so we about a year ago we looked into other locations for expansion, and honestly, I was just looking for another place to build a brewery. I wasn't really looking for taproom space, and looking at like a lot of breweries do, industrial parks, looking around at places that are nonchalant. You just kind of nondescript places, and couldn't really find anything. And frankly, rent prices are getting out of control. They really are, especially on the east side.
Yeah.
And so we started looking around, and I through Craigslist, I think it was, I found this property owner. I was talking to him about a property that he had on in Craigslist, and he asked me, he said, "So what are you doing?" And I said, "Well, I'm looking to expand the brewery." He goes, "I might have another location for you." And so he drove me down to this old grocery store in downtown Auburn. Granted, I don't really go to Auburn all that much at that time. And I was, he said, "Yeah, this is an old grocery store," and the city of Auburn is really enthused about getting a production brewery in their downtown area. And it turns out that this spot is 80 parking spots, an entire city block, and it is right for a production brewery. And so we got to talking and back and forth, and then I met the mayor of Auburn and the city council members there and head of economic development, and it's like, wow, these guys actually they got it on. They were they basically said, we want you here, and we'll do what we can do to help you open up, which for other breweries listening to this will know that when a municipality says to you, we want you here and we're not going to put up roadblocks, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. I mean, opening up an alcohol establishment in a municipality of any kind is a major undertaking. And not only were we welcomed by the city, but the community down in Auburn has been just so supportive and so welcoming. And it's going to be amazing. It really is going to be amazing. So the new brewery location will be. We're currently, like I said, we're about 2,000 square feet right now. We're going to go to 7,000 square feet to start at the new location. The majority of that will be taproom space. The brewery will be a component of that, but we'll have about 150-person taproom. And we're also going to feature food from Louisiana.
Oh, nice.
So we'll have gumbo, jambalaya, po' boys, New Orleans staples will be part of the menu there, which is kind of a rarity up here. And actually, frankly, this has been one of my dreams, is to kind of bring a lot of New Orleans or Louisiana up here. I've had a lot of food up here that claims to be Cajun or from New Orleans, and save for a few exceptions in the area, most of the interpretations of that kind of food up here has been blackened this or put a lot of cayenne on that, and that's Cajun, and it's not. It really isn't. So I'm so excited to be able to bring up that style of food here. I think there's a place for it here. And that also means Bellevue too. We're not abandoning the east side at all. Our current Bellevue location will remain open, and we're going to have food there as well. So we're going to have two separate locations now. The Auburn location will have a more complete menu. The Bellevue location will have food, which is what a lot of customers up here have been requesting, is just having something, instead of having to order in or bring in their own food.
Nice.
So the new location's we're slated for later this year to be open. So we're just entering summer now of 2016. So hopefully by mid to late fall 2016, we'll be open.
Awesome. Yeah. So are you bringing a chef on or something to do all this?
Yeah. So first of all, I'm not a restaurateur at all, and I didn't want to try and tackle something that I'm not competent at. So I talked with some folks, actually the guys at Britain Circuses. They're here at the festival. They have their food truck here, but they also have a restaurant inside of Two Beers.
Okay.
And they've been doing it now for almost a year inside Two Beers. They have the food truck for over a year now at this point, and these guys know what they're doing. They know the restaurant business. They know everything about staffing to food costs to things that I have not a clue about. They know it. So I'm bringing them on to do that for us. And so, I will continue to manage the overall business, and their job will be to provide the best possible food that we can provide for the pub side of the business.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And just to talk about your what was it, summer ale?
Yeah, a breezy summer ale.
Summer ale?
Yeah.
It really does. You said it has a fruit flavor in it, and you really do notice that. It's just like you're biting into a chunk of fruit.
Yeah, it is. I try to describe this to people, but I just say, look, just think juicy. And that's what you get out of this. And it really is, it's the hops. I mean, there's just a regular 2-row pale malt in there. There's a little bit of Pilsen, a little bit of wheat to give it some mouthfeel, but those hops, they kind of burst in your mouth. I mean, and it is kind of like a lighter style. I would almost say IPA, but IPAs are everywhere. So summer ale, better name. It's kind of marketing, but breezy has been that beer that we just unexpectedly were super successful at. And we went from brewing a batch and it was gone in 2 weeks to going, oh crap, we got to brew this a lot more. So now it's, of course, it's now taking up another tank that's that in turn with our IPA. So we're going to be brewing a lot of summer ale and IPA apparently this summer. But it's been really great for us.
So you're going to a larger system, and you're going to brew at both locations?
No, we're going to move the brewery down to Auburn. As all brewing operations will be down there. Fortunately, all the work that we did for the brewery in Bellevue will not be for naught. So, meaning all the coatings for the walls and the floors and the hoods and all that stuff, the gas line, hot water tank, all that other stuff, that'll actually work out for the restaurant side of the business. But all brewing ops will be moved down to Auburn just because we'll have a lot more space to do that there. And we're going to increase the seating capacity in Bellevue. So as a result of moving the brewery out. So all the brewing will be done down in Auburn moving forward.
Awesome. So you're probably looking forward to the larger system so you can keep up with some of these beers now.
I hope so. It's been kind of crazy. I mean, and I look at some of these other breweries that are just coming on the scene, and these guys are opening up, and they're being so successful. The Washington beer market is ridiculous right now. I mean, it's so great to see so many people into craft beer here, and so many breweries stepping up and producing great beer. I mean, just looking at the awards this year, all these breweries I'd never heard of before doing so well. And it's like, right on, guys. I mean, keep kicking ass because, I mean, we're all in it for the same reason. We're trying to, introduce people to real, non-fizzy, non-watery beer, and we're doing a great job up here collectively as a group. So I'm super excited about that.
Awesome. Well, thanks very much for talking with us today. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me.
If you're a home brewer looking for a great shop to buy your homebrew ingredients and equipment, why don't you check out Micro Homebrew in Kenmore? Tony and his staff are always happy to help a new or experienced home brewer find exactly what they need. At Micro Homebrew, they're proud to carry over 100 hop varieties. Visit them today at 17511 68th Avenue Northeast in Kenmore, or find them on Facebook at Micro Homebrew. When you stop in, make sure you tell them you heard about them on Northwest Brew Talk.
Okay, my friends, now it's time for a music break from Star Anna.
Take me to the woods. Tell me I'm no good. Love me anyway. Tell me you need me. Let me be your prey. Take me to the woods. Tell me I'm okay. Leave the big red wolf. You little without in what sharp teeth you have. Buried in my throat, caught up in your whisper everything. Don't be gentle, don't tell lies to keep me safe. I'm not scared of what you're hiding in this place. No, I'm not afraid. Me in the woods. Tell me it's over, that I'll end up like you. Fury and fire, what could a bad wolf do?
Hi, I'm Mike Rizzo, author of Washington Beer, a heady history of evergreen state brewing. The history of brewing in Washington dates back to when the area was just a territory. My new book, Washington Beer, tries to cover everything from the 19th century to modern days. American Craft Beer said, quote, author Michael F. Rizzo does the considerable legwork for us in Washington Beer, unquote. Through dozens of photos and detailed notes, the history slowly evolves. WA List said, quote, Michael Rizzo takes the name a Washington Beer game to a whole other level, unquote. From Prohibition to the modern craft beer movement, over 300 brewery histories are explored. One of craft beer's pioneers, Mari Kemper from Chuckanup Brewery, said, quote, he's done a noble job of trying to reconstruct the industry's history from oral stories and bits and pieces of written documentation. A great read for anyone interested in finding out how the beer industry developed in Washington state, unquote. From Arcadia Publishing, the book features a 16-page color insert and costs $21.99. You can pick up a copy at your local bookstore, online, in ebook format, or directly from me, autographed. Get your copy today.
That was Big Bad Wolf by Star Anna. You can check them out at staranna.com. If you want to have your music played on Northwest Brew Talk, contact us today.
Time for Kolsch number 2 in our Kolsch series tonight.
This is from 5440, located in Washougal.
Excuse you.
Sorry. I know it's offensive. It really is. I always hate it when people say Skagit wrong. I'm extremely sorry to anybody listening. This is their Kascadia Kolsch, a Kolsch-style ale. A simple and perfect beer. Their Kolsch-style ale is brewed to bring together veteran craft drinkers and first-time craft drinkers alike. Traditional imported Pilsner malt and classic German yeast strain create a remarkably crisp and easy-drinking beer that begs to be shared with friends. 4.8% ABV, 5 IBUs, and an untapped rating of 3.72.
Okay, it's our first beer from 5440. And very similar color as the other Kolsch.
A little lighter, I think.
Little lighter. It is a cloudier one also.
Yep.
It must be the style. And again, it's got a nice white head on it. Similar aroma, but it's a little different.
Tastes a little sweeter.
Oh, yeah, it definitely is a little sweeter.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, that one's good. Again, for, I guess these are like the original sessions.
Right.
This definitely, this is, wow, I like that. Definitely has a nice sweetness to it that you can just drink. It's good.
Thumbs up.
Yeah, definitely. I'll give that one a thumbs up, too. When are we going to find something we don't like?
It's going to be hard, I'm telling you.
Oh, no. For the ones that we have right now, it's probably not going to be too hard. I mean, too easy to find out one, because a lot of the beers we've got in the fridge are from breweries that we like, so it might be hard.
And, I forgot to say when we drank our first beer, that's from North Jetty, and they gifted that to us, so thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, definitely. They got a great place out there. If you're ever out in Seaview, Long Beach, I mean,
Yep.
definitely. Well, Longview's not that far, but out that way, yeah. Very good beer. And that brings us to the end of this episode of Northwest Brew Talk.
Make sure you tune in next week when we chat with Harmon Brewing.
Thanks to our sponsor, Micro Homebrew. The show is written and produced by Michelle Rizzo and myself.
Did you forget my name?
Yeah, I did.
If you want to contact us, you can email us at nwbrewtalk@gmail.com or find us on Twitter at nwbrewtalk. Our theme music is from Gilbert Neal. You can check him out at gilbertneal.com.
Until next time, I'm Mike Rizzo.
And I'm Michelle Rizzo.
Stay hoppy, my friends.